Hello, I'm Robert Emmett Hernan, head of Blue Stack Productions, the publisher of Irish Environment, an online magazine covering environmental matters on the island of Ireland. Very happy today to be in Derry with Judi Logue and Jim Keys. Hello, Jim. Hello, Judi. Now, you're both part of an organization called Zero Waste Northwest, and could you tell us what your role is, Judi?
I'm the chairperson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jim?
Yeah, vice chair. I suppose we were part of initiating the project, and then there's now quite a good energy of new people coming in, young people coming in. So we're the sort of senior members.
Senior members.
I'm the most senior member. I hasten to add. Yeah.
Now, when did you start the organization?
We started in March 2013.
And how many members are there now?
We've about 15 to 20 members
15
now.
to 20, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started off with very few. We started off with about 5, but as it's growing, and it's growing.
Growing.
So.
Now, could you tell the audience what Zero Waste Northwest is and what it does in a just kind of general way?
Well, we came together in 2013 when we heard there was a gasification proposal for just outside our city. We were concerned citizens from all areas of the community. We came together to oppose incineration, but with the positivity towards zero waste. So while we were saying no to incineration, we were saying yes to zero waste.
Okay, and gasification is an incinerator process?
Yep, gasification is.
Okay. And now, the movement towards zero waste in Derry and elsewhere is in part a reaction against incineration. This is an alternative to incineration. There was earlier, as I understand, a proposal by DuPont Company in '92 for an incinerator in Derry, and then a recent one by the Derry City Council in 2001 or so. And were you involved with either of those fights?
I was involved in the DuPont campaign. There was mass mobilisation at that stage because of the fear associated with toxic waste incinerator. It was going to be a national toxic waste incinerator. I was involved in the 2001 campaign as a volunteer in Foyle Basin Council, and when I heard about the gasification proposal, I contacted members of Foyle Basin Council to come together to oppose this one as well.
And Jim, when did you first get involved with the incinerator?
Well, the first time I think I remember being involved was in that second campaign with Derry City Council 2001, where we're planning a municipal incinerator, and the campaign had organised to bring Dr. Paul Connaught to Derry to speak about waste. And so there you go, you walk in unenlightened and you listen to Paul Connaught and you go, bloody hell, this is incredible what's going on and what should happen. And he was very much for zero waste at that point. And we suddenly heard 2013 that somebody mentioned to me there's a thing about the gasification plant that's being there's a public consultation on the gasification plant, and it's going to be happening in Campsie. I went along to that, and I hadn't thought about it for the 10 years in between, I have to confess. And the engineers there was more city engineers there than there were members of the public at this public consultation. And they were assuring me that gasification was not incineration. And I was going, it sounds to me, I haven't read stuff for a long time about this, but it sounds to me a bit similar, and is it not going to have all the same problems? And came away from that, started to see that there was other people talking about it online. This woman, Judi Logue, I know Judi, but I didn't know it was the same Judi Logue. And then when we says, look, let's get a meeting together and bring the forces that are out there together.
Both of those proposals were defeated. Can you just tell us in kind of a general way what you think was instrumental by the community in getting those proposals stopped, both at DuPont and the Campsie?
I think for the DuPont campaign, certainly it was the mass mobilisation. The whole city was involved. All sections, all parts of the community, everybody was very opposed to it. And I think that's what changed that.
And you were saying earlier that we were chatting just on the way here about the fact that because it was talking about a toxic waste incinerator or a hazardous waste incinerator, that alarmed the public. And I think talking about incineration now as gasification and energy from waste
Uh-huh.
as a marketing strategy which doesn't raise the alarm in the public,
Uh-huh.
and therefore they sneak it in.
So the cancer was not going to be necessarily a hazardous waste materials coming into it, but still would have generated toxic emissions.
Absolutely,
Okay.
because it's like we're just burning municipal waste. It
Right.
sounds harmless, but
Yes.
when you think of what's in municipal waste,
There's still one, the two incinerators in Derry were defeated, but there's still a proposal in Bombardier in East Belfast, correct? That's still active?
Yeah.
Okay. And that hasn't been stopped by the local council there or anybody?
No, I mean, I think probably there's a campaign certainly against it.
Uh-huh.
It mightn't be strong enough to stop it, and the fact that Bombardier are a private company, they're a big employer in that area of East Belfast, so there are a lot of people very loyal to it.
What's the position of the devolved administration Stormont on zero waste or incinerators? Have they taken a formal position in any way?
the devolved government, the position is that they're for zero waste. There's a road to zero waste document that they produced, but their definition of zero waste is zero waste to landfill.
Uh-huh.
So again, they've got in, the marketeers have got in there and taken this concept of zero waste, which is about neither permanently burying or burning waste,
Uh-huh.
and actually moving towards a circular economy.
Uh-huh.
They've taken that and redefined it as zero waste to landfill.
Okay.
And that allows energy from waste to come in,
Uh-huh.
and incineration therefore to come in.
Okay.
So that their whole policy is consistent with that, and is not, therefore is not a road to zero waste at all. It's just doing the same but under a
Okay.
different name.
I wanted to also have you talk to the audience a little bit about kind of recently you've been involved with a whole number of organizations in Europe. You've been involved with a Zero Waste Europe conference in Sofia, Bulgaria. You set up a conference here in Derry, and you have something called the Flash Mob Recruitment. Tell us about that kind of involvement with a wider community, like in Europe and in Belfast and Derry.
Well, because we had been pushing for zero waste in the area, we had an opportunity to organise a conference. While we were organising the conference, we were looking for key speakers, and we came across Jean-Marc Simon, the director of Zero Waste Europe. So we asked Jean-Marc to come and speak at our conference. Subsequently, he asked us to come to their conference in Sofia, and it was just before ours. So we went to Sofia last June, and it was really heartening to find that there was a network all over Europe of people very like-minded, and heartening and sad as well, the fact that they were coming from all different countries in Europe, but they were all having exactly the same problems. You know, it was worldwide. We thought because we were coming from Derry, there was the biggest illegal dump in Europe was on our doorstep, and we were having all these problems with incinerator proposals, but it's the same Europe-wide. So it was great for us to find a network of people, particularly for the knowledge as well, like to help us get a better understanding of all the issues involved and the technicalities involved in the zero waste process as well.
And what's the Flash Mob recruitment program? What's that?
But what we're primarily doing as a grassroots organisation is education and finding as many creative ways as possible to inform people about these issues. So the Flash Mob recruitment was to say, it was a solidarity act with the East Belfast opposition to the Bombardier project. Flash Mob is where you do a bit of preparation in that. So for example, one of the people in that group is a musician, and so her and a few of her comrades created a song, and the song was then ready to be played, and then there was a dance group that one of the colleagues has a friend who works for the dance group. So the dance group created a dance that was then filmed, and then the film was the preparation tool for the flash mob. So anybody that wants to participate in the flash mob, watch this film and come to this place, and there'll be a bit of a rehearsal in this place, and then we're going to do it in a particular public square in Belfast. So the collection point was people who are interested come to rehearsal at the Friends of the Earth space, and then the flash mob is something that happens it looks like it happens spontaneously.
Right.
If you're walking about the street, yeah.
Suddenly, you hear music somewhere, and someone's going, "Who's that lunatic dancing over there?" And then somebody else starts dancing here. Somebody else starts dancing here.
But do you actually send out messages or notices by internet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flyers, and you hope
Twitters
that
and
people
Twitter,
will
Facebook,
also kind of join in as they're passing on the street.
Okay, so use a little bit of social media, a little bit of spontaneous passing by. So.
Yeah.
And a bit of a core of people
Right,
organising it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, tell the audience what you've gone from incinerator, which you're stopping, and you're moving towards zero waste. What are the key factors that distinguish the two between zero waste and incinerators? What's I mean, in ways, what's wrong with incinerators, and why is zero waste so much better?
Incineration is a quick fix solution to, and I think that particularly here, that's why they wanted to use it. They can just put mass amounts of waste all mixed in together and burn them or gasify them. So it's because it's a mixture of materials. It's a whole mixture of toxins that come out, and they will talk about their very sophisticated filter systems, and that nothing will be coming out into the air, but there is actually nanoparticles that will come out through. And through the filter, no filter can keep them in there because they're so tiny. They get into like the tissue, and you can ingest them. So humans can breathe them in, ingest them. They get into the food chain through like the fish in the river, and they're bioaccumulative. So we end up eating them again then through eating the fish and the meat, because they'll sink into the soil, and the cows will be grazing on the grass, and they come up through the cows and back to us. So they cause all sorts of problems. And if it doesn't stop the need the need to curb like recycling, there'll always be a market. If we just keep producing and consuming the way we're going, there'll always be a market for incinerators, and there'll always be this problem. So if we talk about changing the system, moving more towards a circular economy and a zero waste society, we won't need incinerators. There's even an overcapacity at the minute.
I think what Judi just said there is the key, the key thing is that incineration is part of that linear system of you extract, you produce, you consume, and you dump. What you need to do is you need to recycle and get into a circular economy where all the resources, when you've finished using them for whatever you're using them for, can be reused again, and the energy that's embedded in them, rather than being a fraction of that being captured through energy from waste, and it's only about a quarter of the energy that's embedded in the materials that gets captured. That energy gets brought back into the system and it's kept in the system. So it's a much more energy efficient. The circular economy is much more energy efficient. It's much more environmentally efficient.
Now, one of the things, Judi, you said interesting that incinerators is a quick fix, and I think it is right, because in a sense you can put it in one bin and it goes into some if you're an individual, it goes into an incinerator and it disappears. You don't see it again. I mean, you may die from it, maybe from the stuff coming out. Whereas what you're asking to do, how do you do zero waste? How do you get to zero waste? Because it's not that quick fix. You're talking about behavioral changes in individuals, and then we'll get a little later into how do you get back to the sources of some of this stuff in terms of the production. But how do you get to zero waste? What do you have to do?
Yeah, you have to see it as a journey and a goal, so that you don't panic about getting there so quickly, because as you say, it talks about changing everybody's behaviour, which is something that is difficult to do. But with the energy put into education campaigns along with it, I find from talking to people that people are really interested in recycling, but they see zero waste as maybe just that rather than the bigger picture. I know we keep referring to Paul Connaught, but he's like our hero, and he has 10 steps set out towards zero waste. So the first one being source separation, and that's the big thing about separating the waste at source so that it doesn't go into a mix kind of. So, and it's cleaner and it's higher quality if it's separated in the house. There's a local company in the north of Ireland called Bryson Recycling who are working very hard towards source separation. So it's about a big system change, but it has to start somewhere.
The council has to take a lead. The council, which is in charge of the municipality, has to take a lead in building a system which is incentivizing the community to go in the right direction. And when the incentives are properly structured, when the cheap thing to do is the right thing to do, people do it. When the easy thing to do is the right thing to do, people do it. So the city councils, the municipalities have to then set up the structures that allow people to move in that direction. And that's why we're working with council.
But you've got funding for a feasibility study, which is basically to show people how you get there, correct? To get to zero waste.
Absolutely. The key thing for us was now we need to find a way to say it's not just ideological for us. It's not just that we're kind of do-gooders. There's concrete. There could be a concrete economic appraisal done of the feasibility of zero waste, and that's what we need. But to do that, we need some support from the Department of the Environment. So, because when we were raising awareness and talking to the department and talking to council, because we got the most favourable ear from the Minister of Environment, Mark Durkan, and we felt he heard us rather than dismissed us, we went back to him and we said, can we get some money? And he says, yes. And he was trying to get us the whole 40,000, but in the end, that we needed, he got us half of it, and that allowed us to then go to council and we got the other half. So we've now got £40,000, and we're also working closely with council, who initially would have probably felt that we were a bit of an annoyance, but who now are working with us, and our relationship has been transformed. Like, it really is good. We had a very good process there of creating the tender together. We really worked together and agreed all the wording, and
so the council was involved in putting together the tender for the feasibility study. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the feasibility study will be a practical road map how to get to zero waste. Now let me shift then, because we've been talking about on the local level how to get to zero waste, but let's step back into that other stuff: the sourcing, the design of products, the packaging of products. As I was talking to you earlier, online buying has made an explosive growth in packaging in the States. How do you, from dairy and from your perspective, how do you get some influence on that part of the problem?
Our relationship to Zero Waste Europe is a part in which we in dairy can input into policy that's European wide. Thailand Coffee Company had produced one of these new espresso makers, and they had this capsule which was not biodegradable and not compostable, and by talking to them personally, and this was Zero Waste Europe did this, it wasn't anybody else, that it was Zero Waste Europe just said to run this company because Rossano Ercolini won the 2013 Goldman Environmental Prize, so he's a bit of clout, so he contacted this company, and the company, because of his prestige, I suppose, listened to him, and they now have this capsule is now compostable. So it's no longer a problem. And so it's a simple stuff like that. It's so you look at what's not being recycled and continues not to be recyclable, and you say, who's making it? How do we stop it? And find creative ways to influence those people.
We've also got a message from Rossano Ercolini for the people of East Belfast.
Oh, is that right? Oh, great.
Because he was instrumental in fighting incinerators all through Italy.
Yes.
It's very nice to have that personal kind of.
Yeah, so we got him. Yeah, we nabbed him last year when we were at the conference. And says, can you talk to our Minister of Environment? Can you talk to the people in East Belfast?
We're off to Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, for the annual Zero Waste Europe conference this week.
Oh, you are.
So Ljubljana is one of the case studies. The Zero Waste Europe have case studies of. So they're a zero waste capital. So we're going to find out more about how they've become a zero waste, their
terrific.
road to their journey.
They've been very successful at that there. They have, yeah. It's going to be possible to get to 0.0000 waste.
It isn't possible if you don't strive for it.
Okay.
That's it's a philosophical thing. As
Yeah.
Judy said, it's a journey as well as a goal.
And you're not going to stop, are you?
We're not.
That's all it takes, is not stopping, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep watching you, and we'll hope you keep doing it. Thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in
Yeah.
all this way and connecting us into that wider group of people that are making change, that make an important change. Yeah.
Great, and thanks for your work in Derry.
Thank you.